In this lesson, we're going to cover phishing attacks. We will discuss the different types of phishing attacks, including phishing, Vishing, Smishing, whaling, spear phishing, and business email compromise. First, we have phishing. Phishing is an attack that involves sending fraudulent emails that appear to be from a reputable source with the aim of convincing individuals to reveal personal information such as passwords or credit card numbers. These attacks often lure victims with a sense of urgency or fear and will prompt them to click on malicious links or attachments that lead to the theft of sensitive data. Phishing is like a fisherman who casts a wide net into the sea and hopes to catch as many fish as possible. Cybercriminals send out mass email campaigns to hundreds of thousands of email addresses while trying to appear to be from a trusted source in hopes that some recipients will fall for their tricks and click on a malicious link or providing sensitive information. For example, if you click on a link that looks like it's from Google asking you to verify your identity by logging in, and you enter your email address and password, and then the attacker can capture those credentials that you just entered and then use them later on for their own malicious purposes. Second, we have spear phishing. Spear phishing is a more targeted form of phishing that is used by cybercriminals who are more tightly focused on a specific group of individuals or organizations. These attackers will first gather detailed information about their targets in order to make their spear phishing attack more personalized and convincing. This means that spear phishing is more targeted and more sophisticated than phishing, since it uses a higher level of customization to make detecting this type of attack harder and the attack itself potentially more damaging. At its core, spear phishing is just like phishing, but more targeted and has a higher success rate in convincing users that the email they receive is really genuine. For example, if I send an email to 1 million random Americans and tried to impersonate Bank of America in that email and told the email recipients that their account was compromised and they need to click a link in the email to reset the password to secure their account, that may work out pretty well for me as an attacker, since there are 68 million Americans with a Bank of America account out of the total population of 340 million Americans. This means that out of every 5 Americans, one of them is a Bank of America customer. But if we conduct this campaign, we would classify it as phishing and not spear phishing, since I just sent emails to 1 million random Americans and hoped that they were a Bank of America customer. Unfortunately for the attacker though, if they sent this to me, it wouldn't work because I have never been a Bank of America customer, so I would instantly recognize this as an impersonation-based phishing campaign. Now, on the other hand, if I had my personal bank account at a financial institution named Dion Savings and Loan, who suffered a data breach over the past year or so that caused their customers' names and emails to be posted on the dark web, then an attacker could pick 500 people from that list and send them a well-crafted and targeted spear phishing email trying to trick them into resetting their password or disclosing other sensitive information to the attacker. Now, notice the difference here. Phishing is the widest net, and the attacker is essentially trying a spray and pray approach by sending out 1 million untargeted emails in hopes that some of those people have an account with the impersonated bank. But with spear phishing, we are only targeting people who are known to have a connection with a specific organization, and the size and scope of our attack is much more limited. The spear phishing emails that the attacker sends is tailored to recipients, and this makes it harder to recognize it as a potential attack vector. It is almost as if the hunter has been studying their prey's habits and behaviors before they craft their attack and strike at their prey. Third, we have whaling. Whaling is a form of spear phishing that targets high-profile individuals like CEOs or CFOs. This is called whaling because an attacker isn't trying to catch the little fish in the organization, but instead they want to catch one of the executives, board members, or higher-level managers in the company, since the rewards are potentially much greater. The challenge with whaling is that it takes a lot more preparation, effort, and precision to pull off this type of attack. If they're able to trick one of these executives though, it can lead to massive financial gains, since these people usually have the ability to approve large fund transfers on behalf of their organization. Often, whaling is used as the first part of an attack so that the attacker can take over the executive's account and use it for following attacks across the rest of their organization. Fourth, we have business email compromise. A business email compromise, or BEC, is a sophisticated type of phishing attack that usually targets businesses by using one of their internal email accounts to get other employees to perform some kind of malicious action on behalf of the attacker. A business email compromise involves taking over a legitimate business email account through social engineering or cyber intrusion techniques to conduct unauthorized fund transfers, redirect payments, or, again, steal sensitive information. With a business email compromise, the attacker impersonates a senior executive or a trusted partner and sends seemingly legitimate requests for wire transfers or confidential data to employees in finance or human resources. The malicious actor relies on the trust established by the compromised account to deceive the recipient into taking the desired action, which often leads to significant financial losses and data breaches for the targeted organization. According to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, there was a 14.5% increase in business email compromise attacks last year, and this cost businesses $2.7 billion in losses. So business email compromises are definitely a significant and costly threat that you need to be aware of. Fifth, we have Vishing. Vishing, or voice phishing, is an attack where an attacker tricks their victims into sharing personal or financial information over the phone. The attackers often impersonate legitimate organizations such as banks or government agencies and use social engineering techniques to manipulate victims into providing sensitive or confidential data. In general, most people tend to be friendly, and I have personally found that it's much easier to trick people into providing their information over the phone than over an email, which makes Vishing pretty effective. A simple example of Vishing might involve an attacker pretending to be a bank representative with the aim of tricking you into revealing your personal banking information or performing some sort of action that will compromise your security. Sixth, we have Smishing. Smishing, or SMS phishing, is an attack that involves the use of text messages to trick individuals into providing their personal information. These text messages will often contain a link to a fraudulent website or a phone number to call while attempting to bait the victim into action by creating a sense of urgency. So remember, phishing is not just a specific attack, but it is really an entire category of social engineering attacks that include phishing, spear phishing, whaling, business email compromise, Vishing, and Smishing, to attempt to trick an organization's user to revealing sensitive information or performing actions that might compromise your enterprise's security. Phishing is a general method of tricking individuals into providing sensitive information or downloading malware by disguising it as a trustworthy entity. Spear phishing is a more targeted version of phishing, where the attacker customizes the bait for a specific individual or organization. Whaling is similar to spear phishing, but specifically targets high-profile individuals like CEOs or CFOs by attempting to trick them into revealing sensitive data or initiating unauthorized transactions. Business email compromise, or BEC, involves impersonating or compromising an executive's email account to deceive the organization into making unauthorized transfers or revealing sensitive information. Vishing, which is short for voice phishing, attempts to trick victims into providing sensitive information over the phone. Finally, Smishing uses deceptive text messages to lure victims into downloading malware or revealing personal data. By understanding these different types of threats, you can be well positioned to implement countermeasures to protect yourself and your organization in the digital realm.